All right, so today in the shop, we're going to be working on the Corvette again. We're getting very close to having the car back on the road for the first time in 4 years. So if you're new, this is the trashed 97 C5 Corvette. I picked it up very cheap, broken. The torque tube was cracked. The tires are bald. It's in very rough shape. Let's just leave it at that. So thus far, we've got the new torque tube put in. We got full new exhaust put in. What we're getting ready to do today is kind of put the interior back together. So I may have mentioned in the previous videos on this Corvette, the previous owner must have been a tweaker of some sort, because when I picked it up, the interior was completely stripped. I put it back together a little bit, but they were messing around the wires. They were trying to hot wire it for whatever reason. So I did have to replace the ignition switch. The speakers have been removed. I don't know why. They just removed the stock speakers. There's some things missing here and there, and I don't know what all that is until we really dig into it. But today's video, we're going to tackle this. So it did have the sport seats. They are in very rough condition. The power is also non-workable. It doesn't go back, doesn't go up, they don't work. So we're gonna pull these out, and we're gonna put in some Amazon seats. I picked these up. There's been a few videos on Facebook with some of these type of seats. I think that they're kind of like a Braum knockoff. Either way, they got some good reviews. They fit. So we're gonna go with those. They're 350 bucks, I think, shipped on Amazon. If you remember, or if you've looked at my past videos, I did install a set of Corbeau A4s in my white C5 that I had. So I did I wouldn't say detailed, but it was more of a detailed install. Very easy to do. This is pretty much identical brackets, almost similar seats. These are a little wider in the shoulder area, which is cool. But I mean, it should be the same process. So we're probably going to go ahead and rip these out. I'll come back. We might chat for a minute, and we're going to throw them in. This is not going to be a difficult thing. If I run across any issues, I will tell you. One thing to be aware of, if you're going to be swapping seats in your C5, this area here from the rocker area to the center console is tight. You got some molding, and the way that these seats would typically go in, you got your adjuster on this side, right? Well, to make them fit in these C5s, that adjuster's got to be facing inward. And it's kind of a pain to reach it, but let's be honest, once you reach your seat and once you get your seat in the position you want it in, you're not going to be touching that often. So that's something that has to be done, otherwise it won't fit. I have also heard with the brackets that I went with, which are also from Amazon, they're identical or almost identical to the Corbeau style. I think there's another brand that makes them just like it. I can't remember what it is. Either way, they have a couple different mounting spots, and I've seen a few people say that they had to move those holes. We're going to find out if that's the case or not. They do, they do sell them as a C5 Corvette bracket. But we are also going to start kind of trying to put some of this mess back together. I already did a lot of it. Over in the floor cavity over there, man, the wiring was everywhere. It was all tore apart. This stuff was all set in the back. All this, actually, this is how this looked. This is a new key ignition switch. They had, I don't know what they did. It was a pain is what it was. But anyway, and then here's some more panels that I've just got. I think some of this goes with the rear bumper. Some of it goes up under the front bumper. Yeah, you're getting the idea of what I got involved with here. But we're almost there, man. We're almost got this thing back on the road. And then we can play with the aesthetics and the performance of the car. But anyway, I have rambled long enough. Let's get these seats out. There we go. So I did get both seats out. I went ahead and vacuumed. You should always go ahead and vacuum the floor here because, it gets pretty gross. So you may as well go and get under the seat all nice and vacuumed out. The carpet's in decent shape in this car. There's a few little rips, nothing major. So anyway, I have already got the new sliders onto the driver's seat. Now, I did have to modify the bracket. So if you look, it comes with two mounting holes per side. And to make it to where the seatbelt latch fits at all, you have to use the inside holes on the seatbelt bracket side. And keep in mind the backrest adjuster is on the inside of the seat. So what that meant is, on this side, I did have to put a third hole, kind of right beside the outer hole, because it didn't line up any other way. I did check to see if I use these outer holes, if any of them would line up on that side, but they don't. It just doesn't fit that way. And I mean, that's what you get when you spend, you know, I mean, you get the pair of brackets here for $100, and if you buy like Corbett's, for example, they're $130 a piece, if I remember correctly. I may be off, but either way, these are much cheaper. I also noticed they're very low, so they set very flush with the ground, which is fine. But after we get the seat in there, I did set it in there. I did set in it, and it feels okay. But once we get the car on the ground, I may end up raising this seat up slightly, because I am a shorter guy. So, and that was an issue I had with the Corbett's. Not necessarily seat height. The brackets, I think, were slightly taller with the Corbett's, but the adjustment on the Corbett's was non-existent. Basically, all the way forward, and you could still barely reach the, well, for me, I'm 5'6", 5'7", so you can still barely reach the full extension of the clutch with the Corbett's. I think these will be a little bit better. This is an automatic car, so shouldn't be too big of a deal. All right, let's get the seat in here, get it bolted down, see how she looks. All right, guys, they're in. They look great. They feel great. They're actually, for a fraction of the cost of the Corvette A4s that I was using. Granted, these aren't identical. They ain't the exact same style, but it's still a bucket racing seat, right? But comfortable-wise, these are much, much more comfortable. I mean, I like the seating position better. I actually have a better range of motion as far as the sliding backwards and forwards. The back adjuster is okay. You know, it's just as much of a pain as the Corbett's were, reaching on the inside there, but not too bad. They have this faux carbon look on the back. Final thoughts on these seats. And again, they're really nice. I think for what you pay for them, plus brackets, that's still a fraction of just the seat cost of Corvette. And these are comfortable. They look good and they're comfortable. So I don't have much more to add on those, but it has been a few days. Actually, it's been about a week since I filmed the last part of that video. Unfortunately, we had a lot of rain here, and this side of the garage flooded. So I had a fun time, you know, getting water out and all that stuff. But anyway, so we're back at it. Got the car back in here, back up in the air. What I did a little bit off camera, because I didn't have the camera ready, is I went ahead and bled the brakes. I used the power bleeder. There was a broken brake line in the rear. I just went to O'Reilly's, picked up I think it was a 3-foot length of pre-made NICOP line. Bends really easy. Fantastic stuff. Then we came up here and started putting in the front turn signals. So this is what was in there. Nice and melted up. Don't know why. Well, actually, I think I do know why. I'll get into that in a minute. So these are ugly. So I'm going to put in the other side, probably off camera, because there's nothing to it. But it was kind of a pain to put these lights in. So a lot of people online, you know, they talk about having to snake their way up in there, because there's a bolt here and then there's a bolt over here. So luckily, what I did is I just moved this vent out of the way, and that accesses the bolt here. And then this one's really easy to get with the dust covers off the bottom. So anyway, they also at one time had replaced the factory socket with this socket, and I believe it was wired up wrong, and maybe not. I don't know, but I do know that it's the wrong socket. The lights that fit in here don't fit in this socket, so I don't know what was going on there. But either way, we got it in, we got it working. And we have the very normal Corvette problem where the turn signals don't work. all the time. So the flashers will work. It's a way that they wired these up from the factory with the hazard switch. So it's really hard to swap that out. So they make a hazard switch bypass. I had to do it on the white car, and I'm probably gonna have to do it on this car. Well, the white car actually had to replace the multi-function switch as well as the bypass, but that's neither here nor there. So we're gonna do that, get that going, but they do work, so that's all that really matters. That's really as far as I got. So I know this video probably dragged on a little bit here at the end, but that's okay. Just kind of going over what we've got going on here. So the next video that I'm getting ready to start is this bumper. So I can buy a new rear bumper for about 400 bucks, but I'm gonna try and repair this one properly with more than just some zip ties, but I figured if it doesn't work, it was worth a shot. And then once I get that on, the car's technically drivable, but yeah, I want to get the bumper on before we try to do anything. I also noticed that the HVAC system does not work. The blower motor is not blowing. So I haven't even started to diagnose that, but I hope that's not a big deal. Luckily, I'm going to say this and it's gonna come back and bite me, but luckily everything on this car that I have had to fix has been fairly straightforward and works the way it's supposed to. Like I said, I know this video kind of got drawn out a little bit, but end of the day, we got the new seats in, we got marker lights in, we got all the brakes bled, the car will start off the key. I mean, we're moving right along. The car is almost ready to drive again. It's very exciting. So the next video, we're gonna hit that bumper. I think that'll do it for this video. If you haven't already, please like, comment, subscribe. More Corvette content. We got a lower dually we're gonna start building here soon. And of course, the twin turbo Nova that probably none of you have seen yet, but that's all good, no big deal. That'll be it. Till next time.